Hello and welcome back to Hockey Talks. I'm Carl, that is Dave, and the Toronto Maple Leafs have clinched a playoff spot for the 9th time.
It's very exciting. Yes. They've been playing actually really good hockey lately.
Really good hockey,
which is great to see.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting one. They've clinched 9 times in a row.
Yeah.
So is that some kind of record?
Yeah, it's the longest active streak for consecutive playoff appearances.
Interesting.
Right? The longest active streak. So any one that's going on right now, like the Hurricanes have clinched 7th in a row, right? Kind of stuff like that. But the longest active streak, not the longest streak that it ever was, which ended up being Detroit for, I think, 22 consecutive years they made the playoffs, which is pretty amazing.
That's intense.
Pretty amazing, although they have been struggling, haven't really made the playoffs since.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That was in the Yzerman time?
No, that was recently.
Before that.
Yeah, that was recently when Babcock was coaching.
Okay.
And as soon as Babcock left Detroit, that's when the streak ended.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as soon as he left Detroit, that's when that streak stopped.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
it's good to see Toronto is actually on the verge of like a record-breaking season. If they do or not. Florida is too, so kudos to them.
Yep.
But the interesting thing for myself, as a Leafs fan anyways, is going to see how they carry that into the playoffs. Because we all know the season hockey can only do so much.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we all know Berube, if I say his name correctly there, the new coach, is trying to teach them or push onto them to scoring more goals that are playoff-style goals.
Yeah.
We've covered that before time and time again. So it's going to be really interesting to see as they go into the playoffs if that works and if it helps, especially when you're playing the teams such as Tampa Bay, Columbus, Florida, where they simply just flood the front of the net. That's how they play, and then they take a 50-50 chance, and then more likely than not against the Leafs, it usually ends in their favor.
Yeah.
So
the Leafs are top of the league, or not top of the league, but top of the conference. The Eastern Conference now. Not
division.
Conference, division.
Washington.
That's what I was trying to get. Washington is at the top of the conference. I don't know if anybody's going to catch them. They've been playing some outstanding hockey.
It's going to be tough,
like,
man.
still going. Something's driving. It's got to be this Ovi.
This Ovi push.
It has to be, right? I mean, nobody thought Washington was going to be even in a playoff spot this year.
Yeah.
And look at them, top of the league. Well, I think actually the league even now, the Winnipeg Jets took that over.
Yeah.
But still outstanding hockey, right? And the Toronto Maple Leafs first. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of the Winnipeg Jets, not to change the subject, but I do remember us speaking in the beginning of the season when Winnipeg Jets was on fire, on a crazy winning streak, saying how are they going to cope with a few losses and judging based on that, like how they're just going to perform for the rest of the season. And I have to say, I did not expect this. I did not expect them to be top of the entire NHL.
They're still going strong. They are a good team. Hellebuck's been playing amazing, right? So that's
good to see.
Really, really good to see. It is good to see, right?
And it really shows how much a strong goaltender can really push your agenda.
Absolutely.
And now the question is, does Toronto Maple Leafs have that? You know, they've been making they acquired a defenseman there. What was his name again?
They acquired Chris Tanev.
Yeah.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Yeah.
They still have Morgan Riley.
Carlos.
Oh, Brandon Carlos, too.
Yeah.
Yes, they did acquire him from Boston.
So they're doing all this stuff right before the beginning of the playoffs, and I'm very excited to see. I mean, I'm a Leafs fan, so I'll expect the first round elimination as per the usual. But it would be cool to see if they actually can make it past it.
Yeah.
I mean, my expectation is that they're going to be playing Ottawa. We'll get into that in a second here, though.
Yeah.
And they have a bad tendency of losing against Ottawa.
Them, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but when was the last time the Leafs actually finished first in their division?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have no
I don't
idea.
think they have in a long time.
Yeah.
I know it was. Well, it's usually Florida, I think, finished above them last year, or it's usually Boston, which is surprisingly, Boston is at the bottom of the league. Not the bottom,
where they belong.
Of the Eastern Conference, which I didn't expect them to dive that bad. Like, I knew they weren't going to be top quality, but oh, man. At the bottom, like Buffalo's beating them now. That's like, I didn't see it. I think also Buffalo's been playing some really good hockey. For some reason, all their games are like 6, 7, 8 goals.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there, but it's Yeah, they're making a
They're
push.
showing themselves. They're rebuilding, and it's good. It's good to see.
Yeah,
it's good to see.
It is.
They're making a push, very, very similarly to the likes of Ovechkin, making a push, trying to get his amount of goals.
Yeah.
before the season is over, with which they probably have 7 games left to play.
Yeah.
So I actually did a little bit of looking into. Now, how many more? This is a little question. How many more empty net goals does Ovechkin have currently than Wayne Gretzky himself? Because if you recall, a little bit ago he got a couple empty net goals, kind of back to back. In the media, it was clickbait type stuff. The media really ran with it, and then everybody thinks that he's just getting empty net goals.
Yeah.
So that leads me to the question: how many more empty net goals does he have than Gretzky right now?
How many more empty nets does Ovi have?
Yes,
right now?
than Gretzky.
It can't be too many more.
I'll give you some choices. So 0 to 10, 10 to 20, or 20 plus.
It's got to be 0 to 10.
Yeah, it's only 8.
Yeah, I don't think
only 8 more empty net goals.
Yeah, so it's the crazy thing is that stat is that's pretty crazy in itself. For the empty net goals wise, how close everything is.
Yeah.
You also look at the stats for how many games that he's played. Tell you how many goals. Hey.
That's my next question.
Oh, sorry. Go for it. I'll let you continue here.
How many games has Gretzky played to get to 894 goals?
I think it was 1294.
So 1,487.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then how many games has Ovechkin played to get to where he's at?
I think he's 4 back. I think something like that.
2 back.
2 back. So
long story short, he has 2 games to get 3 goals and pass Gretzky. 2 games to tie with 2 goals and you tie Gretzky.
Yeah.
So how crazy is that? Yeah. He is on the verge of scoring as many goals as Gretzky
did in his prime. Right? That's when I saw that, I was like, wow, that is insane.
Yeah.
How the games lined up, and he's just as good, right?
Mm-hmm. With goals.
With goals.
Yeah.
Goals, right?
I looked at their plus minus and their assists and all that. And Gretzky's plus minus was over 500. Ovechkin 60, which is awesome. It's good. 60 to 70. But it's not 500.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not comparing them. Goals wise, yes. But it's just crazy the stats that line up so close to each other, right? It's pretty wild.
It is.
But, we're speaking of Ovi anyways right now. He is 3 away.
Yes.
From breaking the record. Mm-hmm. Looking more and more and more like he's going to do it this year.
Yep. He's going to owe me something because the whole time he's been saying no.
Well,
I've had faith.
Who thought, besides you, who actually thought he was going to play this well, for one, at 39 years old, play this well and score probably, close to 40 goals this year?
Mm.
Insane. And then he had that injury yet, too. He broke his
shoulder. And that's when you thought, imagine if he didn't have that injury.
Oh
man, he'd be on fire.
Crazy. I did not expect that. It's not done yet.
Yep.
He's still got, 7 games?
Oh, yeah. 7 or 8, I think, I'd have to look, but yeah.
But it's looking pretty promising that he will break it this year.
Yeah.
3 goals, I think he can do it. Well, you never know, but...
But yet again, though, he's not one of those players where if he gets injured, Washington's going to be losing, right?
No.
That's the one thing to remember, is that it's mainly just this kind of side story behind everything, right?
Yeah.
So, it's interesting to see teams where one player goes out and the team starts catapulting down, much like what's happening to the Senators right now.
Yeah, exactly. With Brady Tkachuk getting injured, all of a sudden, an upper body injury. Of course, you don't disclose it yet, but apparently he's out, and Ottawa Senators seem to almost fall apart.
Yeah,
he's not there, which he's been a really good leader for that team, right? Really good, drives everybody to their absolute limits. And production gets done. They've been a really, really good team when he's there.
Yeah.
But you mentioned earlier that they take a step back when he's not.
You can tell he's missing. Yeah, absolutely.
Not playing at all, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. They seem to be a few points up right now. on Montreal and the rest of the pack. I think it's like 5 points. I think something like that.
It's 5 or 7 or something like that.
something
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah.
so they're comfortable, but they got to win. They got to win at least half their games, I think, in order to maintain their spot.
And they have some hard games coming too. So
Yeah.
they could use Tkachuk. They could use him back.
Yeah, Montreal's playing really good again.
Yeah.
Right? So that's,
All those teams are playing well right now, to be honest.
The East playoff race is just
insane
how close it is.
Yeah.
Like you got, Ottawa, Montreal, and the Wild Cards right now. You got Columbus, New York Islanders, Detroit, all coming up right behind them, and within like 2 points.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. Within 2 points, all those teams could be in. That's wild to think about.
And only one.
Only one.
Yeah, well, because let's just assume Ottawa's going to make it.
Yeah.
You know, then there's only one out of those other teams that are.
Ottawa is a few points ahead of them. That's
enough.
Going off of Montreal, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's that close to Montreal, so that's going to be a very, very close race. And there's only 7 games left.
It's going to be
most
fun.
People,
yeah.
Most teams. So, but it's going to be fun to watch down the stretch. Vegas on the other side has clinched 7 times in the 8th season that they have become a franchise.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah. Like, how is that possible?
Oh, because they didn't really know what they were doing with the expansion draft.
Yeah. But you would have thought, why would they? I don't know why they did it that way, because I don't recall them.
They're learning.
Doing that with like Minnesota or Columbus.
No.
When they came into the league, I don't recall that happening.
The idea behind it was that they wanted to make a team that came aboard that was competitive, and they didn't realize that it was a brand new equation or formula, if you might, right? And once they figured out, oh crap, or oh shoot, this is bad. They altered it, and that's why you have teams like Utah and Seattle, which are actually both kind of on the verge of it, right? So you still have that competitive edge, but yet you don't just get to cherry pick off all these teams.
Well, Utah came from Arizona, which we knew.
Oh yes, that's right. Sorry.
Right, but Seattle, yes, they didn't get that kind of a luxury. Right?
It's not interesting, actually. Now that you mention that, Utah is like on the edge.
Yeah,
and they're the old Phoenix team.
Yeah, well, Arizona was always on the edge.
Arizona, yeah.
Old Arizona team, right? But, they got new life somehow. It's a lot of the same core guys that came from Arizona, right? Just in Utah now. But they got different owners that care.
Yeah.
Right?
They're not probably making more money.
They're not playing in a university arena.
Yeah, exactly.
They're actually being taken care of and looked after. We're in Arizona.
Yeah.
It's just
but it's crazy though. Regardless, it's crazy that Vegas has gone 7 consecutive. You said 7.
7. Oh, they've gone 7 out of 8 years that they've been in the league,
and they have a strong team this year too.
Oh, absolutely,
It's going to be a great playoffs.
They've already clinched the playoff spot, and they're sitting in first in the Pacific Division, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's crazy. Hurricanes back to the east side.
Yeah,
7th time in a row as well. 7 times in a row that the Hurricanes have been in the playoffs. So Rod Brind'Amour has led that team to a playoff spot every time. Right?
And I have to say something here. Last year, Carolina in the playoffs, there was the game they ended. I think it was last year. The game they ended up getting eliminated off of was by kind of a weird call.
Yes,
and it was kind of like it was uncomfortably like, are you sure you should be making that call? Yeah. I really do think that they have a team that really hasn't entered the spotlight yet, just because of some mishaps.
Yeah.
But think every single time something like that happens, the team learns. So they are going to be a contending team this year.
Yep.
Oh,
absolutely. They play really good hockey, but they're almost a little similar to the Leafs. They get into the playoffs. They get into the playoffs, and for some reason, whatever it is, they have a hard time figuring it out.
The refs. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe the refs.
We all know how much we hate the refs. Come on, get real.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you are. The refs are never calling a fair game.
No, absolutely. Yeah. No. It's a lot can do with the refing. Yeah. Definitely. But they're back in the playoffs again.
Mm-hmm.
Who they'll play, not 100% sure. More than likely, it'll probably be maybe New Jersey's on the cusp of coming in too. Actually,
Yeah.
it's not going to be New Jersey, but yeah, like probably Tampa.
Yeah.
I'm guessing something like that. Tampa or Florida, depending. That's still even like the positions in the Eastern Conference are still very much up for grabs. Right?
Yeah.
You can go all over the place still. So we'll see what actually happens there. But yeah, brings us to our next topic. Who do you think clinches those wild card spots
In the East?
in the East?
Let's
start with the East.
Okay, I really do think Ottawa's going to clinch. So let's just go ahead and put that one away.
Yeah,
I think that Ottawa, I'll just say it now, I think Ottawa's going to end up playing the Leafs. Right? Unless of course Florida ends up going and start winning their games like crazy and pushes Toronto down.
Yeah.
I really do see a Toronto and Ottawa, which I think would be a lot of fun.
That'd be a blast.
And then the second one is I don't know if Montreal can't keep playing. Okay, I won't sugarcoat it. I'll just say it. I think Columbus is going to actually overtake
Montreal.
Yes, and the secondary to that is if I were to have a second choice, it would still be Detroit. Mm-hmm. I really do think Detroit's been playing great hockey, and I think once they just have a few wins that they need to get, but they're only one win behind, so it's closer than people think.
Yeah,
so
I would like to see Detroit in there, right?
Me too.
That'd be great. Columbus too. A lot of people would love to see Columbus in there.
Well, Columbus. The reason why I chose them is because they have an extra game in hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have an extra game over anybody else.
Yeah.
So
that gives them the extra edge to get into that, right? But they gotta win. They gotta win their final games to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Rangers are also another close team, but I think I agree with you with Ottawa there. I do think it actually might be the New York Rangers.
That's a good guess. Yeah, that's a good one.
I actually think it might be the New York Rangers.
They're playing good hockey.
Playing incredibly good hockey right now.
Yeah.
And it might be the New York Rangers. I think it's going to be between a lot of teams, but I think New York Rangers or Montreal. But I think the Rangers out of all of them are going to push Montreal out. So it would set up for a Washington-New York Rangers final or a first round.
Yeah.
Toronto and Ottawa. So, be some good play.
Will that ever?
What about the West?
Well, I mean, get real.
It's going to be pretty obviously cut and dry there, right?
I think the odds of St. Louis is top wild card spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think St. Louis. I don't think they're going to overtake Colorado. I think St. Louis is going to stay in the top wild card spot. I think that's who they'd overtake, right?
St. Louis would take. If they moved into the. Number
third
3 spot?
Yeah,
it would be
Colorado.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
No.
So I do think St. Louis and Minnesota.
Actually, you know what? Actually, would be Dallas right now because Dallas is underneath them.
Oh, really?
Colorado won their last game.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So at the moment, it would be Dallas, I think. But yeah, St. Louis again is on a complete tear. But yeah, St. Louis and
Minnesota. Yeah, unfortunately, Calgary is, if memory serves, like 5 or 6 points out, and that's just not enough. Especially when you're competing against a team that is on a winning streak of 11 games, and Minnesota, which is doing not bad themselves too. Yeah. What's your guess?
I think it's going to be Minnesota and St. Louis as well. With Minnesota,
I was thinking you were going to say Vancouver would come up.
I would love to believe Vancouver, but I think they're done. They had
You have a little hope, though. I can tell you have a little hope.
It's never over till it's over, and I really want to have hope.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably will a little bit, but after seeing the 5-0 loss to Seattle the other night, pretty much drove all that hope into the ground, and it's looking very, very bleak.
Yeah,
for them making the playoffs right now. Even beating Calgary, I don't even know if they're going to beat Calgary anymore. It's seeming like they're pretty much done for their season, but mathematically, it's not over yet. So we will see. Very close races pretty much in the East, not so much in the West, but you never know until it's over.
And I do want to say one thing too. Edmonton Oilers, now they've gone through injuries and stuff, but they've secured a spot and they're entering the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's pretty sure thing.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see how they're going to actually perform this year, because right now they do not look like a team that's going to go deep.
No.
And it would be very surprising if they ended up getting all their stuff together and being able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to be in a playoff spot. I think they will. I think it's a battle between them and LA.
Mm-hmm.
Forget who gets home, but I think it's going to be Edmonton and LA.
Yeah.
We're going to face off.
It'll be a good round.
In the first round, just like the last couple of years, or last year at least, right?
Yeah.
But it'll be a really good round again. Looking forward to the playoff action coming up in a couple of weeks. Starting, I've got to finish the last few games of the NHL season, and here we go. Playoff hockey is right around the corner. But thanks again for watching. Hope you have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.